Welcome to Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional women. I have some time before I head out. As you know, I would say about a week ago, I had a little bit of a breakdown, if you may, that I share with you guys. If you like look back in my video, I just basically want to talk it out with you on just to explain my emotional states and also my physical states at the time where I was dealing with a lot of complexity in terms of my in life in general, but also with respect to some of the hiccups that I have been experiencing with the business that I'm trying to build. And as you probably know, and this is something that I never said before, is like I was a little burnout, in terms of just like try to control and try to sustain and when you're working on the same thing, I don't want to go too much in depth into it, but like when you try to build on things every single day and you always feel like you have that guilt when you are not performing at the highest potential and you're not being productive for the day, and you when you're always like just heightened like to the highest level that you can physically and mentally you know achieve for like a long time, it kind of wears you out, right? And me personally, I know that despite my resiliency and my hardworking, work ethic, if you may, I'm not a robot. And even if you're a robot, you know, the gears that grinds on the day to day basis still kind of deteriorates over time, right? And that's something that I am not good at, and that's something that I just know. Like I'm very like what I know about myself that I'm very good at is that I'm very good at being laser focused on if you give me a task, right? And if I'm passionate about the task at the same time, I will like work my ass off to get it done for you. Like I'm a great executor, and I also realize that I am a great motivator at the same time in terms of being a leader onto having the vision to drive just a vision but to an angle of a business that can generate value, but not just like monetarily but also in terms of intrinsically at the same time, right? That's something that I'm good at, like vision, execution, right? So like I'm great at being like CEO of a company. I'm definitely not good at taking jobs that are very like mundane or not in a leadership sense. Um, but what I'm really bad at, and this is something that I've been reflecting on a lot, and this is something that I've noticed for quite some time, but I guess I never really broke it down in a way that is quantifiable or qualifiable, if you may, is that like I'm bad at I guess like diversification of my energy and my life aspiration. Like the energy that I realize that I channel my physical being onto pursuing every single day is always career first, right? I'm always thinking about like how can I improve the business that I'm doing, how can I maximize my productivity on a day-to-day basis to make sure that I can extract the most out of the time that I have, or we all equally share, with the 24-hour time frame that we have on a day-to-day basis. And because of me, that's also another negative factor about me is that I'm a perpetual perfectionist. Like I always feel like I need to be refining. I need to be working on this constantly. I always feel like there's a lack thereof. Like there's a weakness. I want to mitigate it as much as possible. Um, and sometimes like there are even things that my colleagues or people that I work with don't see it. They're like, Maurice, like you might be being a little bit too meticulous. You don't need to be so 100% button up. Um, and I realize that that's really the truth, right? Because like perfect is not something that is you know achievable, right? Because it's relatively subjective as well, right? Because like, perfect in your eyes doesn't mean it's perfect in someone else's eyes. So something that seems like it's perfect in my perspective doesn't mean how other people is gonna perceive it, right? So it's like I'm just feeling like a perpetual hamster on like grinding and refining and like, but I realize that I'm just doing that to myself, right? And when you're like working in that like kind of a cycle every single day, like you're like a hamster just grinding on the wheel constantly, you you neglect the other side of your life, right? Which is like physical health, where you at least like go outside to walk a little bit, to like, or in addition to that, like going out to see your friends, like just over lunch or over dinner sometimes, or just like maybe spending some time just like relaxing, like maybe go shopping, or like maybe just like buy yourself a nice drink from like a nice coffee shop or something like that. Just like treat yourself a little bit. That's something that I realized I neglected doing so. Another weakness that I have is that I'm a giver more than a taker. I don't know why, but that's just like whenever like people give me gifts or compliments, I feel not um I feel like kind of weird about it, like awkward about accepting compliments. I'm learning how to take it better over time, but like I'm better at like identifying ways for me to be helpful to the other person. Like I'm learning how to be like I'm better at being empathetic than just like accepting glorification, if you may, right? So that's another weakness of mine. um so as a promise to myself, and sorry again for me rambling, because I didn't come into this just have a structure. I'm just like talking things out to, this is like just my way of reflecting on what have happened in the last like, I guess, 14 days so far, in terms of like accumulating some of the, I guess, synopsis that I have in terms of like how I can better myself going forward, is that I need to take a break sometimes. Like I think I need to allocate maybe just a day for myself going forward, and learn to have a more of a healthy routine rather than just like work without like taking a break. And also I need to learn how to diversify my energy distribution and the time that I invest on a day-to-day basis onto doing other things that will make myself more well-rounded, rather than just like very tactically executor of tasks, which is, that's not living, that's just grinding and churning yourself to the bones, right? So that's not a healthy way of living. But yeah, I just it's just a thought. Hopefully this makes sense to you. But I assume a lot of you guys have that very similar mindset to me as well, on, because like, why we all why am I, or why do we collectively have that fear going on, or why do we work ourselves to the bone? It's because of the limited time that we have in life. So that's why I don't ever want to waste time onto doing things that are not worth it. And that's why I'm always try to make the best out of it, and have no regrets, right? um yeah, let me know in the comment section if you find this to be resonating, and if you don't, like, feel free to skip it. It's just like me. I feel like I kind of, you guys deserve kind of like an answer of what happened recently. um and again, it's not structural. It's not meant to be something that I prepare a speech for. It's just, well, I just want to talk it out. Well, appreciate your friendship, and have a good weekend, and take care. Bye.